All right, let's talk about Brock Purdy. So we've seen him play at an MVP caliber statistically. We've seen him play worse last year, missed the playoffs. Um, Still though, for a lot of last year, it seemed like he was kind of carrying the offense. Kyle didn't have any ideas, and Brock Purdy was sort of running for his life and making things happen in ways we haven't seen Niner quarterbacks do in the past. Still, he really struggled in fourth quarters of close games. We know this. What does he need to play his absolute best? If you're really committed to Brock and you believe that he can be an elite quarterback, what does he need?
Um, well, personally, I don't think he can be an elite quarterback. That's not saying he can't be good. I do think Brock Purdy's a good quarterback. He's in that 7 to 14 range, somewhere in there. I think he's a good quarterback. What he needs is a great team around him. When he was successful, he had a great team around him. Brandon Ayuk was the best he's ever been. Debo was really good. CMC was healthy and offensive player of the year. Had a great, healthy Trent Williams, George Kittle. He needs a ton of talent around him. Uh, I don't think Brock's a bad quarterback by any means, but you said he carried the offense last year. Well, they were 6-11,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So that's the thing, right? When
yeah.
it doesn't have that in place, those are the results you get. So, like I said, I feel like we've had 3 years of Brock Purdy. I think he's a really good quarterback. I think last year he was trying to do too much, possibly to earn the money, possibly because he had to with Christian McCaffrey out, and it wasn't a great product. So this year, hopefully Christian's healthy. Hopefully one of these young receivers that we're not talking about can step up in the absence of BA and Ricky Pearsall and all these other guys that seem to be injured. And that is what would surprise me about Brock Purdy if he's able to elevate, particularly after getting paid with not a strong team around him. Now if Christian's there and they get George Kittle heavily involved, like they should have been doing his whole entire career, it could be a really good season for this team.
Sure. I'm with you. I think you got real close to where I was going to go with this one. When Christian wasn't out there, he was forcing the ball downfield. Why? I feel like part of it was he didn't trust the running backs who were replacing Christian as receivers. Like I thought that Jordan Mason actually had some ability as a receiver, but I don't know if Purdy agreed because Purdy almost never threw him the ball, and Purdy thought that scrambling was a better option than checking it down. It felt like to me last year. And I think that maybe he was right or maybe not. I he's a good he's good at escaping pressure. But when it comes to actually running past the line of scrimmage, he's not that big, he's not that fast. I'm worried he's going to get hurt. And I think the more he checks the ball down, the more he's decisive. Like last year there were so many plays where he held the ball for like 7 seconds and he was trying to be like young Russell Wilson or something. It looked like he was trying to be like Kyler Murray or Caleb Williams. I think he needs to do less of that. Take the scramble lanes when they're there, but be decisive and check the ball down more. And if he has a special running back as a receiver out of the backfield, then he can be really, 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 really efficient. And I think
Yeah.
we've seen that in the past. He needs that.
He talked about it too, right? Like he talked about, I forget what it was, sometime during the offseason, getting back to like watching his year one tape and his year two tape and just getting back to the fundamentals and taking what the defense is giving him versus last year. He was doing a little bit too much. And he talked about it. And, the question is why? Did he feel like he had to again because Christian was gone, or was it because he was chasing the money? I'm not sure. But he did acknowledge that he needs to get back to taking what the offense is giving him. And you're right. He passed up a lot of short dump off opportunities, trying to make big plays, and didn't quite work out for him. So that's what he needs to get back to. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo showed everybody that this team can have success if you just take the easy play, because that's all
Yeah,
Jimmy did, right? He just took the easy
exactly.
open play and they had success. So I think Brock needs to get a little bit more of that and then use his scrambling ability when there's nothing else available.
Yeah, use your scrambling ability to keep yourself upright to avoid pressure. But your first option should be to check it down, not to scramble yourself, because Christian's a better runner than you, Garendo's a better runner than you, Jordan James is a better runner than you, and they can take hits. You can't take hits. You've gotten injured scrambling, diving for first downs and touchdowns. Like it's commendable, but you should save that stuff for the playoffs when you really, really, really need it. Like he's more in the Joe Montana spectrum than the Steve Young spectrum. And Joe Montana, he was scrambled here and there, but he always had Roger Craig to check it down to, and there's no shame in that. So I think I don't know. I mean, it's so much comes back to Christian for Brock Purdy, and if he gets hurt at any time, they really need to develop Isaac Guerrero in that role because Brock's not going to have the arm to really take advantage of some Tyreek Hill type guy 40 yards down the field near the sideline. But he's great over the middle and he can dump it down. I mean, that's something. He's been very successful doing that stuff. He needs I think he needs a big tight end. He needs tall receivers because he's shorter. I think he benefits from the 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" receivers. I think Kyle needs to look into that. I mean, Jordan Watkins, Ricky Pearsall, yeah, they're good receivers, but I don't know. There's a reason why Brock keeps going to Jawan Jennings because he can see him literally. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he's in the part of the field over the middle where Brock wants to throw. So that's another thing Brock needs, as many of those big receivers as possible.
Let me ask you this. What do you think we see from Brock now that he's paid? Is there going to be a difference from Brock Purdy? Is he going to feel like he has more to prove, or is he going to feel like he's already proven it now that he's paid? He doesn't have to do those things. Or do you think we'll see the same old Brock?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know that we're necessarily going to see like a different mentality from Brock, like him trying to do too much or not enough. I think we're just going to see like what he is for real. I think like the whole Mr. Irrelevant Cinderella story is over. And now he's paid like the 7th highest paid quarterback in the league. And if they're not winning, you can't avoid blaming him. So I think, yeah, he needs to show that last year was just a fluke and that the Niners can win with him making this money. That's the whole key, right? If they can't win while he's making this much money, then he's not a top 10 quarterback and he wasn't worth it and they need to start over and it's awful for the whole organization. I don't think I answered your question at all.
No, it's like you did. You said you don't think you'll see much of I do think we will see a different mental change from Brock Purdy. I think when you are the highest paid player on your team's history and the highest paid player on your team, there's a pressure that goes along with that and also some responsibility, accountability. So I think Brock is going to take on that responsibility. I think this is Brock's team now. I think this is now Brock Purdy's team, and he's going to behave like it's his team, meaning he's going to call out wide receivers if they're not doing the right things. He always has, but it's going to be an elevated level. I feel like there's a pressure for him now where the success as the highest paid player on the team, it's on you. It's on your shoulders, and you're the quarterback of this team, and you need to take control like a Tom Brady did. I think that's what we're going to see from Brock, his attempt to be that guy.
I'm just looking. I mean, this is what Brock needs to do. I mean, because when he first broke into the league, he was really good, but he wasn't making any money. And so the Niners could spend on everything else. He was on this all-star team. Now he's making so much money, $53 million a year. It's not an all-star team anymore. They let so many guys go. They're hoarding cap space to roll it over next year. He's going to be in close games. He was blowing teams out for like a solid year. Those days are over. He'll blow out teams here and there, but they're going to be in close games. And ever since he lost the Super Bowl, he's been losing close games. You know how like the Super Bowl can be this traumatic event with Jimmy. He lost the Super Bowl and he like never completed a deep pass again. He stopped throwing them. It felt like because he missed that one. And it was like, I have PTSD from this moment. It feels like with Purdy, every time it's 5 minutes left, 1-score game, it's like he finds a way to lose. At least he did last year. I mean, he lost every close game except for the one in Tampa. So I don't know. That's what I think we're going to be judging him on that, man. You got to, if you're getting paid that much, I think the expectation is you're going to win more of those games than you're going to lose.
He doesn't have a ton of history of being that guy at the end of the game, right? He doesn't. I mean, even going back to, I hate to bring this up, going back to high school, I believe he lost the state championship last few minutes. So like he's just that's the monkey needs.
He's 1-8 in his last 9 close games going back to the Super Bowl. 1-8.
Yeah, I think that's the monkey needs to get off his back. That's the next step for Brock Purdy, being able to in those situations make the right play and win the game for your team. That's what you're getting paid this money for. But also that doesn't mean that you need to make a crazy play like you did when you tried to throw to Jawan Jennings downfield when you had a guy wide open underneath. Mm-hmm. It means making the right decision, not necessarily making a crazy play. And I think that's what Brock needs to find this year is just not turning the ball over, keeping the sticks moving, making the right decision in those situations. He has not been good, and I think that's the next step for Brock.
And again, I think people need to go back and refresh their history with the Niners. Go back and look at Jimmy's career. Go back and look at Kaepernick's career. I'm not saying that Brock's will mirror theirs, but both of those quarterbacks got off to extremely hot starts. Won a lot of games, went to the Super Bowl, lost. And then after that, they had this slow but steady decline. And it's like they didn't become better decision makers. Neither of them did. They didn't become more accurate. They didn't become more. They became worse quarterbacks over time, both of them, as the league sort of was exposed to them, and as the team around them deteriorated because they made more money. Is that going to happen with Brock? I don't know. I mean, and again, like the criticism from fans became louder. With Kaepernick, he got less of the benefit of the doubt. People forgot, like, didn't care how good he was against the Ravens in the Super Bowl when he was, making bad decisions 3 years later on a team that was like under 500. He got the blame, and that'll be Brock too. If he
I would say the difference between Cap and Jimmy and Brock is the mentality, right? Cap thought he had already arrived. He didn't think he needed to work on his game in the offseason. He thought, like there's quotes of him, saying I don't need to work on anything this offseason, basically, right? I'm summarizing, paraphrasing, but Jimmy was a ghost in the offseason. Whereas I think this is Brock's life. Like Brock loves this stuff and he wants to be a great quarterback and he will actually put in the work. And I don't think Jimmy and Cap were willing to do that. So I think that's a big difference for him. And that's a big part of the reason why Jimmy really never improved and why Cap kind of fell off, because he didn't change his game. He was the same guy, but the NFL adjusted around him. I think with Brock, he's going to constantly try to push himself to improve. And really, when it comes to the mental stuff, I do have confidence that Brock Purdy can improve mentally in every aspect of his game. So, maybe not physically, he's never going to have a cannon for an arm, but I think mentally, I do believe in Brock's desire to be good. So I think that could be the difference for him.
Well, it's funny with Brock, his best trait is supposed to be his processing, which is such a football word. No one ever uses that word. It's not a word, but processing information, reading defenses and making quick decisions. I didn't think he was particularly good at that last year. So I think if he's going to improve anywhere, that needs to be his best trait. He needs to be very, like with Drew Brees in his prime, he was making very quick decisions and they were usually right. Brock was over here, to be or not to be. Should I scramble? Should I run? Should I throw down the field? Should I wait and look? It's like none of that. He needs to be on virtual reality, thousands of reps a day. That's how you can improve, is improving the one aspect of your game that's supposed to be elite, because it wasn't last year.
So. Yeah, and I think, to go back to that's what he said in the offseason. And I think that's accurate. And, again, why was he like that last season? Did he feel like he had to be like that, or was he trying to earn them back? Was he trying to prove himself? What was it? We don't know. But he did talk about he needs to get back to the fundamentals, his footwork, getting the ball out on time, and just taking what the offense gives him. I think if he did a great job of that his first year or two, just taking what the defense allowed, versus last season it was kind of a mess, trying to do too much. So if he can get back to that, I think he'll be okay. And I don't think he needs to be the hero on this team. I mean, if you look at this team, he's not even the best. I don't mean this as an insult, but he's not even in the conversation for the best player on this team. Like he might be in the number 5 spot in that conversation. So he just needs to utilize the people around him, take what the defense gives him, stay within himself, get back to the fundamentals, footwork, timing, all of that. And I think he'll be okay as long as Kyle's dialing it up correctly and the people around him stay healthy.
Lamont 757 says, when do pads come on, and what's the first thing you look for? You're looking for. Also, you look very swift and light-footed on treadmill. Levy Grant. Thank you. Brock Purdy equals Jimmy Garoppolo 2.0. I'm not sure when the pads come on. I feel like every year they wait longer. It used to be day 3. Then it became day 5. It might be day 7 this year. I don't know. But they'll have a few pads without practices without pads. And when the pads come on, I'm looking for Michael Williams, Alfred Collins, CJ West, those guys. I definitely want to see what they look like, not only in the one-on-ones, but in the 11-on-11s too, because if they're good, then the Niners are contenders. If they're not, then I don't see how they play defense this year. It so much depends on the 3 rookies.
Isn't it also, doesn't it feel like to you? I mean, I haven't seen him play, but I've just heard and I've seen him play professionally. When it comes to Mac Jones, doesn't it seem like this year more than ever, Brock Purdy needs to stay healthy because the people behind him are worse than they've ever been? Or am I tripping?
Um, I mean, Brandon Allen is pretty bad.
It's true, actually. Yeah.
I don't have anything nice to say about Brandon Allen as a player. I'm sorry.
Who's
Is he
better,
still in the
Mac
league?
Jones, Brandon Allen?
Well, probably Mac Jones. Although watching Mac Jones play and listening to him talk, he really sounds like he lost most, if not all, of his confidence, and he's trying to slowly build it back up. I
This isn't
think
the
Darnold was
place.
maybe in a similar place, but I don't know, man. Jones is shaky.
If confidence is what you lack, I'm not sure Kyle's the guy for you, to be real. But
Right. I,
yeah,
I, I'm Harbaugh's the guy for you. I mean, ask
yeah,
Trey Lance about Kyle and his confidence. All day, every day, Kim says, so if Brock can't make the team better, why pay him big money? This is something I will never understand about some franchises. Is baffling. I mean, we're talking about what the future of the organization. If this investment doesn't work out and it's clear in a year or two that he's simply not worth the money and they can't win paying him this much, I don't see how you let Kyle and John try to find quarterback number 4. Like that's the third guy that they made a huge investment in who just didn't work out. So maybe you need to find someone else who could actually find a quarterback.
yeah, in year 10. But I mean, in credit to the 49ers, that contract sounds good. Um, and it's good money, but it's actually a really good contract for the 49ers. So they have ways out of it, which also tells you kind of,
But they have ways out of it after 2026.
yeah,
So
yeah,
Brock's got 2 years. I
yep.
wonder if that means that Kyle and John also have 2 years.
John's in contract for 2 years, right? So
Yeah.
the tie's up, and then Kyle's got one more after that. I think these three are they'll ride together, right? If Brock's successful over these next 2-3 years, I don't see why Kyle would go anywhere. If Brock's not successful, that means Kyle's offense isn't successful, and I think they're tied together in that way.
Also, another thing going in Kyle's favor and John's favor, firing them would be very expensive because they have fully guaranteed contracts and they would have to hire someone else too. So if the Yorks are like really committed to spending all this money on soccer and other things and all their other investments, they may not feel like they can just throw away 15 million on a quarterback, on a head coach to not coach. I don't know.
I do feel like the 49ers are going to have success this season, though. So I do feel that way. They're like moderate. No, I don't feel like they're winning the Super Bowl this year, but I do feel like they'll have enough success to where the fans are rejuvenated and you know the hot seat for Kyle's not really being talked about. I think it'll be fine.
Rod Simmons says, "How do you grade our training staff at this point?" I mean, I'm not qualified. It's interesting. The NFLPA survey at the end of the year, the players often love everything about the Niners organization except the training room, right? It's always like AA minus for everything, food, family engagement, and then it's like training room, weight room A, training room C plus. And I don't know what that's about. Maybe the Niners just put less resources into it because the like subconscious idea is get out of here. You're not supposed to be in here. Get on the field and play. Maybe it's not something that they invest in as highly because they don't want players to feel too comfortable in the training room. I mean, that's kind of a morbid way to think about it, but I wonder if teams think about it like that.
I don't know how much I buy into the training room blame. I mean, Christian McCaffrey's always had an injury history before he was with the Niners. On the
Thank you.
Panthers, he had
That's a
an
good
injury
point.
history, right? So, I mean, depends on who you're talking about specifically. Brandon Ayuk's injury, that was a blown out knee. Like, I I don't. There's
It's
not a
not his
lot
fault.
that I look at where it's like, oh, this is a training room situation.
Well, let's go back to Christian for a second. I think I'm not blaming the training room at all, but it seemed like the Niners trainers were telling the coaches he's okay. It's not too bad. He'll be questionable. I mean, the Niners trainer's official designation for Christian week 1 was questionable. Then he was shut down 90 minutes before the game. Now, Jordan Mason said he knew a few days before, which he probably did, but it's possible that the trainers were like, our professional expert opinion is that he's okay, essentially. And that Christian and his team of I'm sure when you're that rich and good at football, you have your own team of doctors and trainers and stuff. And they're like, you know what? We disagree. We have our own opinion, and we're going to he's going to go to Germany to get a third opinion. I just can't imagine the Niners trainers would be like, Christian, you need to go to Germany. I feel like that's a Christian thing to do. So I don't know. Maybe maybe the training room is getting overruled by certain superstars just because they're superstars.
A Christian thing to do. The first time I've heard it in a different context than what we normally hear it on, right?
I didn't mean it like that, but yeah.
Yeah, I will say, I also think there's a lot of maneuvering and chess being played by Kyle and the 49ers, like when it comes to Christian's injury history. I don't think they wanted teams knowing that Christian wasn't going also. So I think Kyle and the 49ers may have played that hand a little bit too.
All right. All day everyday Kim says easiest schedule in a decade. It's a mirage. Yeah, that's the other thing I want to say about the easy schedule. Is it easy? I mean, on paper, yeah, but like all the other teams in the division have the same schedule except for those 3 games. Like the 3 games that differentiate the Niners schedule are Giants, Browns,
Who is it? I don't know.
Bears. Giants,
Bears.
Browns, Bears.
Bears is
So
gonna be
like,
tough.
yeah, the Niners should win 2 of those games, but it's not guaranteed. Bears could be a loss. Browns could be a loss.
I would expect the Browns are a loss, and I think the Bears
Yeah.
are going to be a lot better than people realize.
And so yeah, they get to face the AFC South, but like so does every other team in the Niners division. They get to face the NFC South. So does every other team in the Niners division. And you have to face the Cardinals who swept you last year, the Rams who swept you last year, and the Seahawks who beat you once and have a really like the best defense in the division.
I mean, on paper it's easy, but it's the NFL. Any given Sunday. Plus, I think going to Cleveland and playing in Cleveland in what is it, December? Not going to be easy at all. Playing the Bears, I think it was December 28th.
The 2023 Niners lost in Cleveland, and that was one of the best teams in franchise history to not win a Super Bowl.
Correct. And I'm telling you, this Bears team, man, they had the best offseason of any team in the NFL. Their trenches are stout. And then they got Ben Johnson calling plays. By December 28th, I believe is the Bears game. They could be clicking, right? So
Yeah.
that Bears game is no walking apart. So, I mean, easier than last year, probably. But nothing comes easy in the NFL. You got to go out there and earn it. And it's really heavily dependent. Another reason why I'm so excited about this season is because it's so dependent on these rookies who we have no idea how they're going to perform.